If you guys are still playing FC24 and you want some cheap coins, make sure you check out MMOEXP.com. Their link is down in the description. They're very cheap, they're very reliable, and if you do use my code Rema, it will give you a lovely 5% discount off your order. So what's up guys, it's Ash here and welcome back to a brand new video. Sorry for no uploads the past few days guys, I've had a very busy past week to be honest. Obviously we had England with the Euros losing of course. Went to Liverpool for that and came back, and then I had my graduation a couple of days ago where we finally got our bachelor's with honours in computing, so that was good. Yeah, it's just been a chaotic past few days for me, but we are back and we do have some 4-2-4 tactics to help you out in FC24 if you're still playing of course. I hope you guys do enjoy. Please be sure to drop the video a thumbs up as it does really help me out with the YouTube search. Sub to the channel if you are new and don't forget to turn on those notifications, and with all that aside guys, let's get right into the video. Okay then guys, so starting off with the tactics, defensive style, we have it unbalanced as it does give us the best control when we are defending. When we want to press and be aggressive guys, we can do that, and when we want to drop off, be more passive and conservative, we can also do that. So balanced is my preference. If you want to use pressure tactics however, because that's what you prefer, then that is also absolutely fine. Moving on to the defensive width, we pop this on 35 as I find it to be the perfect balance. When you have it on 35, you have a nice narrow and compact defense to block out all of those attacks throughout the middle. This makes it much more difficult for your opponent to attack. You also have decent coverage of the wider areas in case an opponent goes down the wing. So you're narrow in the defense, but you're also not too narrow at the same time. Moving on to the depth, this is a preference-based thing to be honest with you. A lot of people are using 71 and 100 depth to get that automatic press from their AI. It does congest the middle area of the pitch a lot and it does make defending very automatic. The reason I don't like it is because I like to defend more manually where possible. I like to have that control, so I prefer something like 65 or 60 where we still have that higher defensive line. We just have more control over when we press our opponents, but depth is all about preference and finding what you like personally. Now moving on to the build-up play, I highly recommend balanced as I find it to be the most consistent, the most varied and the most fluid way to build up in the game. When you use balance guys, you can basically pick and choose between all of these build-up styles whenever you want. So for example, if you want to start off building up slowly, you can do that, and if you want to speed up and then be a bit quicker, you can also do that. So it just allows you to mix and match when you like. I also think these individual settings suck, they're terrible, and I don't really advise using them. Maybe long ball if you do love spamming those long balls, but I don't think, you know, I don't like to use it, so I just go with balanced. Now for the chance creation, I recommend direct passing because it's the only way to consistently create chances in the meta of this game. So this is a very park the bus heavy game with a lot of defensive AI, so the only way to really break through that park the bus defense is to use direct passing. So when you use direct passing guys, it's a very push forward track back kind of movement where your attackers make runs, defenders follow attackers making the run, and then the attacker tracks back once the defender has overcommitted, so you can pass across or cut back to them. So it's a very boring tactic, I give you that, but it is also very necessary in this game. Moving on to the attacking width, you can pretty much use whatever you want. I go for something that's very balanced in 52. There's no specific number you need to use. All you really need to know is the lower the width, the more narrow your attack, and the higher the width, the wider your attack. A range I would advise would be like 40 to 60, but you guys can still pick any number that you would like. Now moving on to the players in the box, we have this on 7. This is to get quite a few players into that penalty area, but again, we don't overcommit to the point where we're going to get counter-attacked if we lose out on possession. So this is the sweet spot for me. And then for the corners and the free kicks, we have them both on 2, but you guys can do what you want with that. You know, some routines require 3, so if you want to use that, you can. Just basically pick whatever you want. Now moving on to the player instructions, guys. On my right striker at the moment, my fast striker, so Mbappe, we have them on stay central and get in behind. Stay central to keep them in the middle. We don't need them covering the wider areas. We've already got wingers and fullbacks, so we don't want them doing that. We want to keep them in the middle primarily, which is why we have that on. And because they're the faster player, we also have them on getting behind to force those runs, and so we can utilize their pace to get as many chances as possible. Now, for the left striker, I use a taller player and like Peter Crouch, somebody that's meant to like win headers and things. So I've been experimenting with stay central and target player. So stay central for the same reason as the other striker. Well, we don't need them drifting out into those wider areas, but we've also tried using target player so they can get into those positions where they can hold up the ball and, you know, really cause problems instead of just getting in behind. You don't have to use this if you don't want. If you use like two faster players, you can have them both on stay central getting behind, but because I'm using Peter Crouch, I'm just trying him out on stay central target, and it's working out quite nicely for me. Now moving on to the wingers, so both the right winger and the left winger, guys, we have them on come back on defence, cut inside, get in behind and get into the box for cross. Now come back on defence is very important on these two wingers because the 4-2-4 by itself is not a very good defensive formation. You'll see how much space there is in the midfield just by looking at the formation on the left. There's just two centre mids covering the middle, and then there's just a lot of free space which you don't want your opponent to have. So by putting these wingers on come back on defence, they'll make it defend in a 4-4-2 instead of a 4-2-4, so the defenders left mids and right mids sitting next to those two centre mids and making you a lot more compact in the defence, covering those wider areas. So this is very important in my opinion to bring that balance to the formation. We also have them on cut inside. This is something I like because they start their runs out in those wider areas and then make the transitional runs into the more narrow channels, which are very difficult for the AI to mark, and I love the movement that you get out of it. This is again as an attacking AI movement I personally like, but if you guys don't want to use that, then that is fine. You can use balanced as well. We also have them on getting behind, so we can force runs out of them because they are wingers. We don't want them being super static, you know, we want them to run, so this allows that to happen. And then we also have them on get into the box across so that they don't hesitate in getting into the penalty area and helping us out when we are on the attack. Balanced crossing runs, they can be a bit static and not offer you all too much. So that's that for the two wingers. For the left centre mid, my more defensive minor midfielder, we have them on stay back and cover centre. So stay back because he's the more defensive minor midfielder. I think it's important to have that balance. You want one more box to box centre mid and then a more stay back. So on the more defensive one, we have them on stay back and cover centre to bring that balance, and we have them cover in the middle as opposed to the wing, since we have those wingers coming back to cover those wider areas. For the right centre mid, the more box to box of the two, this being Bellingham, we have them on the default settings and then cover centre. Default settings, so they'll do a bit of everything. They're not restricted, they'll attack and defend and have that free roll, and then again cover centre, so it'll cover the middle as opposed to the wing. Now moving on to the fullbacks, whichever one is your most attacking one. In my case it is the right back. We have them on balanced attack and overlap. Now this is useful because I have my wingers on cut inside, so they'll go into the more narrow areas, leaving space on the wing for this fullback to overlap and then add that extra width. So it stretches out the opponent, gives you many options in attack, with some players being narrow, others being wide, and making it a nightmare for defenders. So this is why we have one of them on balanced overlap. And then for the other fullback, the more defensive one, in my case the left back, we have them on stay back and overlap, so we always have at least 3 defenders back at a time to bring that balance. But when we send them on the run forward manually, they'll make that overlapping run to give us that extra width as well. So this is really nice. For the two centre backs, of course, guys, we leave them alone, we don't touch them, and the goalkeeper, we also leave them alone. But yeah, guys, they're my tactics and instructions for the 4-2-4. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please be sure to drop it a like, sub to the channel if you are new, and don't forget to turn on those notifications. And yeah, with all that said, guys, hope you have a great rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the next video. Peace out, guys. Take care.